This is Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review, and I am taking a look at your CFL football Week 2 card for the games taking place this week on Thursday, June 30 and Friday, July the 1st. Another great slate of CFL football action on tap. We had a CFL Play of the Week winner last week with the Montreal Alouettes as they won outright as an underdog against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We'll see if we can turn in another Play of the Week winner at the end of this CFL Week 2 preview video. But as always, let's start by breaking down each game on the slate, and we're going to begin with the aforementioned Montreal Alouettes as they host the Ottawa Redblacks to begin the Week 2 slate on Thursday night. And the Alouettes, to me, they looked very impressive in their win against Winnipeg. I liked what I saw from their defense. They were able to get consistent pressure on Winnipeg Blue Bombers quarterback Drew Willie. Same concerns for Winnipeg along the offensive line remained in effect. Montreal was able to take advantage of that. Very strong defensive performance. That being said, it's going to be much tougher for them against this Ottawa offense. Red Blacks, one of the top offensive teams in the CFL last season, and should be up near the top again here in 2016. Henry Burris, their number one quarterback, down with a hand injury in their opening game against Edmonton, in which they won in overtime, but Ottawa with probably easily, I think, the best backup quarterback in the CFL with Trevor Harris, who was fantastic in leading the Ottawa Redblacks after Burris left the game with that injury. Harris was fantastic, 17 of 19. Throwing the football, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was just terrific, coming in cold off the bench, too, for an injured Henry Burris. He looked like a seasoned veteran quarterback. There's no drop-off to me at quarterback to Trevor Harris from Henry Burris. I think the Red Blacks are going to be fine offensively with him under center until Henry Burris gets back. That's why they went out and signed Trevor Harris in the offseason as an insurance policy for the 41-year-old Henry Burris in case he got hurt. And sure enough, we don't even get out of week 1. Henry Burris is injured already for this Ottawa team. So I think Trevor Harris can go in there, play well for this Ottawa team, give them good stability at the quarterback position. It's going to be a much tougher test for Montreal's defense. And on the flip side for the Alouettes, their offense was pretty solid against Winnipeg. They had times where they bogged down a little bit, but overall, I liked what I saw. Kevin Glenn, the veteran quarterback from Montreal, had a pretty solid game. I was impressed with the play calling of Anthony Calvillo, of course, the CFL Hall of Fame quarterback, probably the best quarterback to ever play in the CFL. Anthony Calvillo taking over as the offensive coordinator this season with Montreal. He looked like he was pretty comfortable, did a good job calling plays, so tells you that maybe Anthony Calvillo going to turn his success as a quarterback on the field to success as an offensive coordinator and a coach in general here in the CFL. Very interesting game. I am not going to bet against Ottawa, though, with Trevor Harris at quarterback, especially in this kind of price range where all Ottawa has to do is win the game in order to cover the point spread. This game right now, right around pick'em, total sitting at 54. It's 54 for a reason. This Ottawa offense is explosive, but their defense, as we saw against Edmonton last week, does have some holes and new faces on that side of the football. So it wouldn't surprise me to see a higher scoring game, lean a little bit to the over at 54 and lean a little bit to the Ottawa Redblacks here to pick up the victory. I'm not in love with the spot for the Redblacks. They are coming off, an emotional overtime win against Edmonton, the team they lost in the Grey Cup last year. So I think Ottawa, not the greatest spot in the world from a scheduling perspective, but I still lean to them to get the victory. Second game on Thursday is the Toronto Argonauts and the Saskatchewan Roughriders as the Roughriders open their season at Mosaic Field. It's the last season for their old stadium before they open their new digs next year in the 2017 season, so I'm sure Saskatchewan will be fired up. They've got a brand new looking team, revamped secondary, new faces on defense, and some good additions on the defensive line for Saskatchewan. Justin Capicotti, Sean Lemon, 2 impact pass rushers are going to help this team, I think, on the defensive side of the football. And the biggest addition is probably something that they didn't even have to sign or trade for, and that's the return of number 1 quarterback Darian Durant, who should make a difference for Saskatchewan. Veteran quarterback, knows what he's doing, probably is going to give this Saskatchewan offense a big boost. And Chris Jones, let's not underestimate him. Getting him from Edmonton as their new head coach and general manager, Chris Jones has shown the ability to turn around a moribund franchise in a short period of time. Look what he did with Edmonton. The Eskimos were 4-14 in the season before Chris Jones took over. And then after he took over in 2 years as the head coach in Edmonton, Chris Jones amassed a 26-10 straight-up record 23-13 against the spread during the regular season. Just tremendous success. Turned that team around very quickly. I don't know. It's going to be a massive job that's ahead of him here in Saskatchewan. There's a lot of holes that need to be filled. It's a big rebuild that has to take place, but I wouldn't underestimate Chris Jones and his ability to make this team better, maybe faster than a lot of coaches would be able to in this kind of situation. Chris Jones has the experience and the ability, and has shown the ability to turn a team around, and I think he'll do that here in Saskatchewan. How quick that is remains to be seen, but there are concerns with Toronto for sure. After their Week 1 loss in their brand new stadium at BMO Field against Hamilton, really got dominated in the trenches along the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, couldn't protect Ricky Ray, couldn't establish the ground game, couldn't get receivers open down the field, got sliced and diced defensively by Jeremiah Masoli and the Hamilton offense, who just, as that game got close, Hamilton's offense just took over and slammed the door shut. Bad sign for this new-look Toronto defense under their coordinator, Rich Stubler, who's taken over as the DC. It could take time for that unit to come around. Toronto already as well dealing with some injuries at wide receiver. Kevin Elliott won't play in this game. He got injured last week. Deontay Spencer missed the first game. He isn't coming back either, so some concerns with Toronto. I'm not sure. The problem is Saskatchewan, laying a full field goal, 3.5 now even showing up with Saskatchewan. I think the value may be getting away a little bit. And let's not forget, Saskatchewan's still got to go out there and prove it. I mean, this is a team that was 3-15 last year, and now all of a sudden, you're being asked to win this game by more than a field goal to cover a number. That's a dicey proposition. So it'll be interesting to see how Saskatchewan comes out here in Chris Jones' first game as head coach and GM, and also how Toronto responds to a real poor home loss last week against Hamilton. The next game, Friday, takes place on Canada Day. It's a Canada Day holiday, Friday, July 1st. BC Lions, Hamilton Tiger Cats, two teams that had impressive victories last week. BC 1-0, Hamilton 1-0. Both teams got good quarterback play. Jonathan Jennings, a dual threat mobile quarterback for BC. He got better against a very good Calgary defense last week as that game went along. And Jeremiah Masoli was terrific. I mean, he seems to be getting better and better. He came on strong late last season, played well in the playoff game against Ottawa, even though they didn't win Hamilton, and then carried it over into the preseason where he played very well, and he was very sharp against the Argos last week, throwing the football very well, finding his targets, Luke Tasker, Chad Owens, and Andy Fantuz, a very solid Hamilton receiving core. And the defense for Hamilton got consistent pressure on Ricky Ray. Not going to be as easy this time. BC's offensive line did do a decent job last week against Calgary. And don't forget, Jonathan Jennings is a hell of a lot more mobile than Ricky Ray. A lot younger, a lot more nimble on his feet. So this is going to be a new challenge, a different challenge, and a tougher challenge, I think, for Hamilton's defense here in this game. Should be a great game. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Tough game to call because I'll tell you what, you talk about strong home fields. The Hamilton Ticats have a strong home field. They've been dominant at Tim Hortons Field since that stadium opened in 2014. I'm not sure I'm in any rush to bet against them at home. That being said, BC is a bet-on team for me right off this hop this season. I cashed a ticket with BC last week in their win against Calgary, a very good Calgary team, I might add. And I think BC's got what it takes to really be a factor in the West Division this season. Wally Buono back on the sidelines as their head coach in BC. The guy's only had 4 losing seasons in 22 years as a head coach. He's only missed the playoffs once during that span. It's a guy that just flat out gets his teams to play well. And BC, to me, I'm not stepping in front of them either. And in fact, you could argue there's a little bit of value in this point spread because you're seeing Hamilton with the inflated tax laying nearly a touchdown at home because they've just got such a strong home field. But I think BC's a much better team this year. Might be just a tinge of value on the Lions from a point spread perspective here in this game. Might see some points as well. Maybe lean to that game over 50.5 the total in that game. I don't think Hamilton's defense is going to play as well against a better quarterback and offense overall with BC. And BC's defense, better, but we'll see if they can take it on the road against Jeremiah Masoli, who's obviously playing with a lot of confidence here early in the season for the Ticats. All right, and the game we're going to wrap up this CFL Week 2 preview video with is Winnipeg and Calgary on Friday night, July the 1st. ESPN2 has this game on national television, and this is the game I've circled as this week's CFL Week 2 Play of the Week. Winnipeg and Calgary cashed our CFL Play of the Week in Week 1 with Montreal. And this game, we're going to look under the total. The total sitting at 49.5 in this game between the Blue Bombers and the Stampeders. Let's be honest, Calgary's offense last week was a big disappointment. Bo Levi Mitchell, who coming into this season I think was one of the best quarterbacks in the CFL. He just did not play well last week. Didn't get a lot of time to throw the football. The defense was pressuring him throughout. Not a great performance by the Calgary offensive line, and they are dealing with some injuries early in the season, some shuffling along that offensive line, guys playing in different positions. So that's definitely something you're going to want to watch for here in this game as they take on Winnipeg. Not sure Calgary's offense at this stage with some new wide receivers as well, new running backs. Not well equipped, I think, to come out firing strong out of the gate. So that's something you want to watch for. Might be some struggles early on for Calgary's offense to get going, but on the flip side, boy, how's Winnipeg going to score in this game? I mean, honestly, Winnipeg's offense was a disgrace last week, an absolute train wreck. It was atrocious. Couldn't protect for Drew Willie. Couldn't give him any sort of time to throw the football. They're now missing Weston Dressler, one of their best receivers, prized free agent signing. He's already been ruled out for this game, so that's an even bigger problem now for Winnipeg. You've got a fierce Calgary defensive front. You know, if Montreal's pressuring Drew Willie all nonstop like they did last week, what's Calgary's defensive front going to do, led by sackmaster Charleston Hughes? I mean, that Calgary defensive line can get after the quarterback. This could be a long day for Winnipeg's offense and for that beleaguered, struggling Winnipeg offensive line, an offensive line that, as I mentioned last week, without starting center Jeff Keeping, out 8 weeks, and we saw the effect. A much weaker unit without their starting center, Winnipeg, on the field. So I just don't know where the points are going to come from here for the Blue Bombers. Only scoring 14 points at home last week against Montreal. Now you got to go on the road, face a pissed-off Calgary team, a Calgary team that has been a very good team off a loss over the years. They've really responded and been a good bounce-back team off a defeat over the years, has Calgary. So this is going to be tough sledding, I think, for Winnipeg to be able to score points and move the football consistently against this Calgary defense. I think the total is just a bit too high in this game. 49.5 is where it sits right now. And when you look at these two teams and where their offenses are right now, they both look like offenses that are a work in progress. And it is worth noting, last season when these two teams played, 2-0-1 to the under in the 3 meetings between these teams. We had a game where 51 points, 48 points, and another one with 48 points. I think we might be able to get this game to slide under this number as well. So let's make it official. Let's look at our CFL Week 2 play of the week. We're going to look at Winnipeg and Calgary under the total of 49.5. That's your CFL Week 2 play of the week. All right, I'm Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review. That will wrap up our look at CFL Week 2. From a betting perspective, as always, check out sportsbookreview.com for the latest in quality sports betting information. And until next time, enjoy the games and good luck.
Always on the go? Bet365 has one of the top mobile platforms in today's market. Sign up today and don't let your busy life keep you out of the game.